This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Good morning, I'm John Trout. It's Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
President Trump lashes out at Democratic predecessors as he tries to deflect the Jeffrey Epstein files controversy. I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
Mike Johnson has sent his members home, rebuffing pressure to act on the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The continued saga over picking a U.S. attorney in New Jersey. I'm Clayton Neville.
On Wall Street, Google and Tesla each report earnings this afternoon after the closing bell. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
The godfather of heavy metal, Ozzy Osbourne, has died. I'm Kevin Carr.
Cause of death revealed for the 9-year-old Canadian girl allegedly killed by her father in New York. And the Washington Commanders respond to President Trump's call for a name change. All ahead on America in the Morning. On a day when the president of the Philippines was in the Oval Office, President Trump continued his attack on his Democratic predecessors, Barack Obama and Joe Biden, labeling Obama as a traitor as the Jeffrey Epstein controversy continues to swirl around the Trump presidency. John Stolnis has more from Washington.
With Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sitting next to him in the Oval Office, President Trump deflected questions directed to him by reporters regarding the Epstein case, instead seeking to turn the spotlight on former President Obama, claiming he masterminded the Russia investigation that dogged Trump for much of his first term.
This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard this week submitted a criminal referral from her office and released a press release asserting, quote, overwhelming evidence Obama and his national security team orchestrated a years-long coup against President Trump.
They caught President Obama absolutely cold. They tried to rig the election, and they got caught.
Trump said the former president should face serious consequences.
Whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper.
Democrats say Gabbard revealed nothing that implicates Obama or anyone in his or the Biden administration in any wrongdoing, and that the president is simply trying to deflect attention from the Jeffrey Epstein controversy that is gripping Washington for a third straight week. The DOJ says they will seek an interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's imprisoned former associate, to learn more about who may have been involved in illegal acts with Epstein. Trump was asked about that yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do, yeah. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt.
The remarks came as Trump welcomed President Marcos to trade talks at the White House. Trump noted the Philippines had been drifting toward China and away from America in recent years.
But you know, you had a country that was tilting toward China for a period of time, and I just don't think that would have been good for you. You can deal with China, you should deal with China, but when I got elected, everything changed and they came right back to us.
The Philippines is a key ally in the Pacific as the U.S. attempts to restrict Chinese influence there. President Trump said he will probably visit China in the not-too-distant future and may meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin if and when he does. John Stolnis, Washington.
House Speaker Mike Johnson announced he's ending the House session earlier than planned amid a clash with his own party over those Jeffrey Epstein files. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports the move angered a number of prominent pro-MAGA Republicans who are readying a House subpoena to compel testimony from Ghislaine Maxwell.
House Speaker Mike Johnson has sent his members home earlier than planned for an August recess, rebuffing pressure to act on the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. There's a bipartisan push for a vote on legislation aiming to force the release of more Epstein probe documents. Johnson notes President Trump's already pushed to make more information public.
He has now ordered his DOJ to do what it is we've all needed DOJ to do for years now, and that is to get everything released. So they're in the process of that. There's no purpose for Congress to push an administration to do something that they're already doing.
That's not good enough for some Republicans who demand the House intervene, and the month-long break is unlikely to relieve pressure on Johnson to act. GOP maverick Thomas Massey's pushing for a vote, saying it's a watershed moment for Johnson and the president.
I think he's scared. I think he's terrified. 80% of MAGA, once these files released, they were promised this, they expected this, and it's not happening. But at the same time, he feels an allegiance to President Trump, who's gone against the MAGA base on this. So I think he's torn. I think the right thing to do would be just leave it up to the People's House. Let us vote on whether to release these files or not.
Democrats are watching the GOP fight with glee. California's Ted Lieu says leadership clearly has something to hide.
This is a cover-up of epic proportions where you've got the majority party literally having us leave Congress early and not having the Rules Committee meet because they don't want to deal with releasing the Epstein files.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Uproar in appointment for U.S. Attorney. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. This is America in the Morning. Late July heat warnings are posted for several areas of the nation. Let's get the Wednesday update from AccuWeather.com meteorologist Brian Thompson.
A large area of dangerous heat is setting up shop from parts of the Midwest southward to the Gulf Coast, and this heat dome is going to continue to cause some dangerous heat as this eventually spreads farther east over the next couple of days. But AccuWeather real field temperatures could approach 110 degrees this afternoon from Little Rock up through St. Louis, and around the Chicago area, we could have real field temperatures up around 105 as we head through this afternoon with a fair amount of sunshine on what's, again, going to be a very hot day. Just some spotty thunderstorms through much of the southeast. There will be some more numerous showers and storms there across Florida, more than we typically see on a summer day, and there will be the potential for some flooding downpours across especially central Florida as the storm system makes its way to the south and west. We're also watching for the potential for some severe storms today on the northern side of this large area of heat, so up across the upper Midwest from Minnesota through Wisconsin, northern parts of Michigan. There will be the potential for flooding downpours, hail, and isolated tornadoes with some of these storms as they move on through. Farther to the east, across the northeast today, another pretty nice day before the heat and humidity start to build in a little bit more over the next few days. Out across the west, we're watching for just a couple of spotty showers and thunderstorms through the Rockies, maybe a little bit of drizzle around the San Francisco Bay Area, but even a bit cool across the Central Valley of California today, and a nice day across the Pacific Northwest. And that's the weather across America. In Boston today, mostly sunny, a beautiful day, a high near 80. In Denver today, partly sunny with a strong afternoon thunderstorm in spots, a high of 83. The nation's weather, I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. Alina Habba is out of a job, but so is the person chosen to replace her. The Department of Justice fired a newly appointed U.S. attorney who took over the position vacated by President Trump's former personal attorney. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
President Trump appointed his former lawyer, Alina Habba, to serve as U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey back in March. This week, federal judges in that state opted not to appoint Habba, choosing Desiree Lee Grace instead. District court judges are allowed under a statute to name a prosecutor if the president's nominee hasn't been confirmed by the Senate after 120 days. Habba hadn't been because of pushback by New Jersey senators. Announcing the removal of Grace, Attorney General Pam Bondi released a statement saying that the DOJ does not tolerate rogue judges, especially, she said, when they threaten the president's core Article 2 powers. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche released a statement saying Alina is President Trump's choice to lead, and no partisan bench can override that. I'm Clayton Neville.
New York State Police are now saying a 9-year-old girl reported missing by her father was drowned, and he will face murder charges. Correspondent Julie Walker reports.
New York State authorities say little Melina Fratolin was drowned according to the initial autopsy. The 9-year-old was found Sunday in a pond in the Adirondack region after her father, Luciana Fratolin, reported she'd been abducted Saturday. Captain Robert McConnell said that story quickly fell apart.
The investigation has determined sometime after Melina's phone call with her mother and before Monsieur Fratolin's 911 call, he allegedly murdered Melina and left her body in a remote area where she was later discovered by law enforcement.
Fratolin and his daughter were visiting from Canada without the mother.
I was at the command post when we received notification that she was deceased. It was very difficult and emotional. At that point, though, the best we could do is provide some measure of justice to the family.
A not guilty plea was entered for Fratolin. Julie Walker, New York.
Leading soft drink manufacturer not sold on high fructose corn syrup. That and more in the Wednesday Business Report when America in the Morning continues after these messages. America in the Morning continues with Wednesday Business. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger.
Wall Street opens this morning after a mixed day yesterday for stocks. The S&P 500 index opens this morning at a new record high.
Seasonally, these are the worst months ahead of us, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a push-pull place, but I lean my hat on the economy, and the economy is humming.
Hightower's Stephanie Link on CNBC, and a word of warning about meme stocks from Ritholtz Wealth's Josh Brown.
One of the things that you want to not do, and I wish somebody had told me this when I first started investing, is not extrapolate sideshows into the center ring of the circus. So there's a freak show happening outside the tent. The stock opened up 82% today. On Friday, it was a $9 stock. Today, it's $14. Just outrageous, right? I mean, great for people that own it. Congratulations. No disrespect. 87 million shares traded hands by 10 a.m. Not normal.
Home builders rallied yesterday on strong results from D.R. Horton and Pulte Group. General Motors says its profit shrank by 35% in the last quarter. It took a tariff hit of more than $1 billion.
North America is the profit driver. And because you have a 25% tariff on vehicles built in Canada and in Mexico, a certain amount can be offset because of USMCA, but not all of it. And that's where you see the impact on margin. They have to eat it. 6.1% margin in North America versus 10.9% last year. They're clearly eating it.
CNBC's Phil LeBeau. Coca-Cola earnings beat estimates. Strong demand in Europe offset weakness in North America, where soda sales dropped. The company says it'll offer a version of Coca-Cola made with cane sugar. President Trump said last week he'd spoken with the company about that.
This is what? Like a Mexican Coke you're going to roll out for the United States?
So later this fall, we're going to launch a Coke sweetened with U.S. cane sugar. The president enjoys the Coca-Cola brand. We love that. We are going to launch it later this year. He's knowledgeable about the industry, and we think it'll be a great option for consumers as we give people more choice and more ways to enjoy the Coca-Cola brand.
It's funny because you and I have been talking quarter after quarter, and the star of the quarter has been Coke Zero Sugar. So it's interesting now that you're leaning into sugar.
That's CNBC's Sarah Eisen with Coca-Cola CEO James Quincy. Coke says it will still offer soda with high fructose corn syrup, too. On today's watch list, earnings are coming from Tesla and Google parent Alphabet after the closing bell, plus AT&T, IBM, T-Mobile, Alaska Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Hilton, Mattel, Chipotle, and O'Reilly Auto Parts. We get existing home sales numbers for June. Tonight, the Major League Soccer All-Star match is in Austin, Texas.
When we return on America in the Morning, Trump urges NFL team to change their name after these messages. Welcome back. This is America in the Morning. The man known as the godfather of heavy metal has passed away. Correspondent Kevin Carr looks back on the career of the legendary rock music and reality TV star Ozzy Osbourne.
One of rock's biggest icons is gone. Ozzy Osbourne passed away Tuesday at the age of 76. Osbourne's family released a statement that said, quote, "It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning." Osbourne and his band Black Sabbath hit the music scene hard in 1969 with the release of their self-titled album. After 8 albums, Osbourne was cast out from the group in 1979, and he embarked on a popular solo career. The music world took to social media to pay tribute. Black Sabbath guitarist Tony Iommi called it, quote, "heartbreaking news." And bassist Geezer Butler posted, "Goodbye, dear friend. I'm Kevin Carr."
For the first time since President Trump made comments about wanting the Washington Commanders to change their name back to the Redskins, a front office member of the NFL's franchise has publicly commented. Correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh reports.
President Donald Trump's remarks about the Commanders' team name and possibly holding up a stadium deal are making waves as training camp opens. Still, Commanders general manager Adam Peters made clear Tuesday at a news conference that he doesn't expect the president's comments to interfere with his real job.
Those things they don't come to our, they don't really make it to us. So we really just try to focus on what's going on in here and getting ready for the season.
Trump said Sunday on social media that he may put a restriction on the Commanders' anticipated deal with the District of Columbia to build a new stadium in the nation's capital if they don't change the name back to the original Washington Redskins. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
America in the Morning for Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
President Trump is rehashing old grievances over the Russia probe. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
President Trump reacting to the idea of the DOJ sitting down with Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm Clayton Neville.
Hunter Biden blasts Democrats, and some of them blast right back.
You should be ashamed.
I'm Rich Johnson.
Thousands of Afghans in the U.S. are no longer protected from deportation. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
4 passengers on a U.S. cruise ship have been detained after being accused of smuggling drugs. I'm Hayya Panjwani.
Legendary heavy metal maestro Ozzy Osbourne passed away this week at age 76. I'm Kevin Carr.
Back after these messages. This is America in the Morning, the nation's forecast. Dangerous heat in the Midwest and drenching rain for some. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Brian Thompson.
The numerous showers and thunderstorms across Florida today could lead to some flooding in some areas. Now, it's not uncommon to see thunderstorms on a summer afternoon in Florida, but we do have a storm system that's going to be passing by to the north, and that's going to enhance the shower and thunderstorm activity across the Florida peninsula today and bring the potential for some flooding downpours. And there could be a few heavier storms as well. Even into far southern Georgia, there will be some showers and storms moving through as well. Elsewhere across the southeast, just some very spotty showers and thunderstorms. A lot of the day is going to turn out dry. Farther north through the mid-Atlantic and then into the northeast, looking great today. Still looking pretty nice. The humidity not all that bad for this time of year, but the heat and humidity will be increasing over the next couple of days because the heat continues to build in the nation's midsection from the Midwest down to the Gulf Coast, and from Houston and New Orleans up through Little Rock, St. Louis, Chicago. We could see real field temperatures up around 105 degrees this afternoon, and perhaps even a little bit higher than that in some places. North of the heat, we're watching some severe thunderstorm potential from South Dakota, Minnesota, over into Wisconsin. Northern parts of Michigan could have some downpours, damaging wind gusts and hail with some of the storms today. And some of those storms will even form farther south and west into parts of the Rockies around Denver. Could have some strong thunderstorms around this afternoon as well. And there will be a couple of showers and thunderstorms around the Four Corners region. Out across the west, still watching for mostly dry weather along the west coast. Pretty nice through the Pacific Northwest, even a little on the cool side for this time of year. Most of the state of California and much of the desert Southwest, especially across Arizona and Nevada, will be dry. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. Days after President Trump posted an AI-generated fake video showing former President Barack Obama's arrest on his social media platform, an Oval Office gathering with the president of the Philippines turned into accusations of treason against Obama and other Democrats. Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports.
President Trump is rehashing old grievances over the Russia probe that dogged most of his first term. A series of investigations established Moscow did interfere in the 2016 election, but a report from the president's national intelligence chief last week was aimed at casting doubt on those findings, and the president jumped on it.
You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start, after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people.
In the Oval Office, he repeated baseless claims about Barack Obama.
If you look at those papers, they have them stone cold, and it was President Obama. It wasn't lots of people all over the place. It was them, too. But the leader of the gang was President Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? He's guilty. This was treason.
Accusing his predecessor of being the ringleader of a conspiracy to get him. One, he says, included Hillary Clinton.
This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election. They tried to obfuscate the election. They did things that nobody's ever even imagined, even in other countries.
Obama has never been accused of any wrongdoing in the Russia probe, and a Supreme Court ruling last year shields ex-presidents from prosecution for official acts conducted in office. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The U.S. Attorney General's office is reaching out to Ghislaine Maxwell as members of Congress push for the release of the Epstein files. And a House committee is considering sending Jeffrey Epstein's longtime partner a subpoena. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
Ghislaine Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison sentence for child sex trafficking and other crimes connected to her longtime partner, sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche plans to sit down with Maxwell in coming days. President Trump was asked by reporters if that concerns him.
No, I have no concern. He's a very talented person. He's very smart.
The president said he wasn't familiar with the specifics of a potential interview.
I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do. Yeah?
This is congressional Democrats and some Republicans are pushing to release files related to Epstein. The administration recently said that it does not plan to release any more files, despite previously suggesting it would. Republican Thomas Massey leading the effort to take a closer look at the files.
People have wanted these files for years. And then, the president's staff, administration, his own children, his vice president have promised that these files would come out. And now we're being told it's a hoax. It doesn't wash.
House Speaker Mike Johnson writes off the effort by Congress to look into the files as political games.
There's no purpose for Congress to push an administration to do something that they're already doing.
Johnson did not support a resolution that would require the administration to release the files.
We can both call for full transparency and also protect victims.
House Democratic Caucus Vice Chair Ted Lieu told reporters that personal connections between Trump and Epstein shouldn't be ignored.
Trump was all over the Epstein files that were already released. There's multiple pictures of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. There's multiple videos. There are bizarre quotes from Trump about Epstein.
Despite concerns surrounding honesty, an attorney for Maxwell insists that his client will, quote, always testify truthfully. I'm Clayton Neville.
Hunter Biden has been on the PR offensive this week. He spent much of one interview going after prominent Democrats over how they treated his father during last year's presidential campaign. Correspondent Rich Johnson reports.
It was a year ago this week that Joe Biden withdrew from the presidential campaign, and his son Hunter blames it on what he calls Democratic Party elites who decided that their judgment outweighed the president's.
They're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times, how to pass more legislation than any president in history, how to have a better midterm election than anybody in history and how to garner more votes than any president that has ever run. And they're going to replace their judgment for his.
Hunter Biden in a more than 3-hour interview with Andrew Callahan on his YouTube series Channel 5. While he mentioned George Clooney's New York Times op-ed that called on his father to step aside, Biden was especially angry at the 3 hosts of one podcast.
All of these guys and the Pod Save America guys who were junior speechwriters in, on Barack Obama's Senate staff who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years.
That, said the Pod Save America hosts, was hurtful.
First of all, that's insulting. John, you were chief speechwriter.
I was chief speechwriter.
Yeah. On the latest edition of their podcast, Tommy Vietor, John Favreau, and John Lovett matched Hunter Biden profanity for profanity. Favreau directly addressed Hunter Biden's infamous issues, including addiction, trading on his father's name, and more.
You were a liability. You should be ashamed of the ways in which you made your father's political life worse. And like the idea that we're going to listen to you now, like give me a break. It's ridiculous.
And Vietor pulled no punches.
This sense of entitlement that like from Biden, from his family, from the inner circle, that he was like owed the presidency, owed a second term. It is just very grating.
In a backhanded compliment on social media, Vietor later praised Hunter Biden's decision to, quote, process the election, look inward, and hold himself accountable. But Vietor also blasted the entire Biden family for what he called its insular and arrogant approach to politics that led to Donald Trump retaking the White House. As Vietor called it, the catastrophic outcome we're all living with. I'm Rich Johnson.
When we return on America in the Morning, from cruise ship to jail cell, after these messages. President Trump last night announced the United States and Japan have agreed to a trade deal. On Truth Social, Trump called the arrangement the largest deal ever with Japan and will include 15% reciprocal tariffs for both nations, and that Japan will invest $550 billion into the U.S. Japan's public broadcaster NHK reported that current auto tariffs on Tokyo will be lowered from 25% to 15%. Auto exports by Japan to the U.S. is a staple of the Japanese economy, making up over 28% of all car shipments into the U.S. in 2024. The U.S. is Japan's second largest trading partner. Shifting gears, an investigation is underway in Florida after a video surfaced showing sheriff's deputies punching and dragging a man from his car during a traffic stop. More on the story from correspondent Julie Walker.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle!
That's sound from William McNeil Jr.'s video of a February traffic stop in Jacksonville.
What is your reason? Step out now. All right.
The officer breaks McNeil's window, punches him in the face, drags him out the car when he refuses to exit, and punches him again. McNeil's attorney, Ben Crump, accuses authorities of fabricating the arrest report. Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters says an officer is on leave pending review, but the state attorney's office determined no officers violated any criminal laws.
So much context and depth are absent from recorded footage because the camera simply cannot capture what is known to the people depicted in it.
McNeil was stopped for allegedly driving without headlights, though it was daytime. Police body cam shows he'd been repeatedly told to exit the vehicle.
JSO became aware that cell phone camera footage purportedly of this arrest was circulating on social media. At my direction, the agency immediately began both a criminal and administrative review of the officer's actions. These administrative reviews are ongoing, but the state attorney's office has determined that none of the involved officers violated criminal law.
Waters says he pled guilty to resisting an officer and driving with a suspended license. I'm Julie Walker.
There's concern for Afghans living in the U.S. who fled their war-torn homeland after a judge's ruling on TPS holders from Afghanistan. Lisa Dwyer explains.
Thousands of Afghans in the U.S. are no longer protected from deportation after a federal appeals court refused to postpone the Trump administration's decision to end their legal status. Advocacy group CASA says that temporary protected status holders from Afghanistan and Cameroon face what they call is a devastating choice of returning to a country where they face the threat of severe physical harm, including death, or remaining in the United States in a state of legal uncertainty while they wait for other legal processes to play out. U.S. Homeland Security officials say their assessment is that the situation in Afghanistan was getting better. Groups that help Afghan TPS holders say that Afghanistan is still extremely dangerous. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
4 people went from a cruise ship to a jail cell. Correspondent Haya Panjwani reports on what led to the passengers being detained.
4 passengers on a U.S. cruise ship have been detained after being accused of smuggling drugs. Police say the suspects had a significant quantity of illegal drugs. That includes cannabis and carfentanil, which experts say is 100 times more potent than fentanyl and is used to tranquilize elephants. The suspects were also accused of possessing vape pens and suspected THC gummies. Bermuda police said security officers on a Carnival cruise ship had detained the suspects, and they were arrested upon their arrival to the British Overseas Territory in the northern Atlantic Ocean. I'm Haya Panjwani.
Elon Musk opens the first ever supercharger station, 80 bays wrapped around a futuristic diner in Hollywood. Chuck Palm has details in today's Tech Report.
Elon Musk's Tesla diner opens up to rave reviews in Hollywood. Besides blending a retro vibe with a sci-fi flair, this is a high-tech Tesla recharging station with over 80 of the V4 supercharger stalls available, making it the largest recharging station for EVs in America. You can order the epic Tesla burger, hot dogs, or biscuits with gravy right from your Tesla screen. And your food will be delivered to your car in a Cybertruck-shaped box. There's even a Starship-themed bathroom simulation to boot. Despite the kitsch factor, the Optimus robot serving popcorn inside the diner is probably the coolest. Noted grilled cheese chef Eric Greenspan runs the 24/7 kitchen with servers on roller skates. Tune your Tesla radio for the movie theater with 2 45-foot LED screens showing the Jetsons. Even LA's Eater magazine gave them a rave review, and one customer commented that this could give In-N-Out Burger a run for their money. I'm tech correspondent Chuck Palm.
With Wednesday sports, here's America in the Morning's Robert Workman.
Cal Raleigh hit his league-leading 39th home run last night, and the Mariners ended the Brewers' 11-game winning streak 1-0. Logan Gilbert was perfect through 5 innings for Seattle, winding up with a combo 2-hitter just a smidge better than rookie Jacob Mizorowski and company. They allowed just 4 hits, but that included the Big Dumper's 6th-inning shot. Cubs shut out the Royals 6-0. Matthew Boyd and the boys with a 6-hitter for his 11th win, getting the better of KC starter Rich Hill, who made his major league debut with the Cubs 20 years ago this week. He's now in his 21st season, and Kansas City is his record-tying 14th different club. Giants blank the Braves 9-0. 4 pitchers combined to scatter 8 hits. Phillies got a complete game 4-hitter from Christopher Sanchez in a 4-1 win over the Red Sox. Manager Rob Thompson.
Dominant. No walks, 12 strikeouts, bunch of ground balls. He was just a fantastic performance.
Elsewhere, the Pirates tamed the Tigers 8-5, 3 hits and 2 RBI for Spencer Horwitz, Brian Reynolds, and Tommy Pham. Ben Rice hit a tie-breaking solo homer in the top of the 9th to lift the Yankees over the Blue Jays 5-4. Wins for the Astros, Rays, Guardians, Mets, Rangers, Twins, Nationals, Marlins, and Rockies. Tennis, Venus Williams won her match at the DC Open yesterday. It's her first singles match in over a year and her first win at a tour-level event in nearly 2 years. At age 45, Venus is now the second oldest woman to do that, a little younger than Martina Navratilova was at Wimbledon in 2004. That's Wednesday Sports.
When we return on America in the Morning, the savings account. This isn't your father's bank any longer. After these messages. He was known by many names, including the Prince of Darkness and the godfather of heavy metal music. Black Sabbath frontman Ozzy Osbourne has passed away just a few weeks after performing what he called his farewell show. Correspondent Kevin Carr looks back at the career of the legendary rock musician who would also become a pioneer in the world of reality TV.
Ozzy Osbourne's death at the age of 76 has left a hole in the heavy metal community. He was a pioneer in the genre, though he was originally inspired by the Beatles. The self-described Prince of Darkness got his start with Black Sabbath in 1969. Oh, yeah! For years, Osbourne struggled with substance abuse, which caused him to be fired by Black Sabbath in 1979. He then went on to a lucrative solo career, releasing such hits as Crazy Train. From Iron Man to Batman, Osbourne often courted controversy. Known for his outrageous antics on stage, he hit peak taboo in 1982 when he bit the head off a live bat during a concert. With an awareness of his own image, Osbourne leaned into notoriety. He played a parody of satanic panic preachers in the 1986 horror film Trick or Treat.
It's just absolutely sick and bizarre, and I'm going to do my utmost best to try and stop it now.
And in 2015, he lent his voice to the children's program Bubble Guppies.
You're under arrest.
Is that right?
In 2002, he became a reality TV star with the Osbournes.
Crazy. Rock and roll! Sharon!
Osbourne faced several medical issues, including Parkinson's disease. However, just 3 weeks ago, he performed a farewell concert with Black Sabbath at Villa Park in Birmingham, England.
Bless you all!
I'm Kevin Carr.
The corner bank used to be the place you'd have a savings account and squirrel away money for a rainy day. However, with bank interest rates so low, more Americans are finding ways of making money work better for them and shifting their cash to accounts with investment income. Correspondent Ben Thomas explains.
An analysis by the J.P. Morgan Chase Institute finds Americans' checking and savings account balances low with a flat growth trajectory. But that's because they're shifting their money into financial vehicles that pay an investment income. And in fact, the research found people's total cash reserves, including brokerage accounts, money market funds, and certificates of deposit, are actually increasing. The trend helps to explain the strong consumer spending and overall resilience of the U.S. economy after a bout of high inflation and recent uncertainty due to tariffs. The report examined the accounts of 4.7 million households. Ben Thomas, Washington.
America in the Morning for Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.